The stock market is a complex ecosystem with investors and traders constantly making and losing money. We'll go over the basics of how the market works so that you can get started investing in it with confidence. Nerd Stock Talk is delighted to present to you this fun and informative series entitled From Azeroth to Wall Street, Mastering the Stock Market Like the Class of Your Choice. We are going to compare how well a class performs in DPS and parallel it to how strong a portfolio is and its investment risk. Low risk, low DPS. High risk, high DPS. High DPS without mitigation and utility can also get you killed. All high-risk investments without education and balancing can get you broke. So now we're going to talk about Shadow Priests. Shadow Priests draw their power from the void and deal damage through the use of damage over time effects, dots as we like to call them. Shadow Word Pain, Vampiric Touch, and Devouring Plague, those are some examples of dots. Shadow also uses a resource called Insanity, which is gained by casting the majority of Shadow spells, such as Mind Blast and Mind Flay. And then Insanity can be spent by casting Devouring Plague or Searing Nightmare. Shadow mainly deals their damage at range and excels in multi-dot situations, on spread or stacked AoE. Shadow does struggle with mobility, but it can be circumvented by using instant cast spells while moving and pre-placing in an optimal position if you know you're going to need to move ahead of time. So how can you invest like a Shadow Priest? Well, the strengths of the Shadow Priest include single target efficiency, sustained damage, and the Shadow Priest is a ranged caster. Shadow is a ranged DPS spec that specializes in sustained damage but not burst. It's an excellent choice for those who prefer to deal high damage and have great self-healing capabilities. While Shadow Priests have an adequate AoE damage against most mobs, it excels at single target dots. The sustained damage and utility of having spells heal as well as give them the versatility to survive. These are also the same exact reasons why you would invest in ETFs. ETFs are a great way to invest in the stock market because they offer diversification. This means you can spread your money across many different sectors, countries, asset classes, and industries. For example, if you want to invest in tech stocks, but you didn't want all of your money tied up into one company or industry, you could buy an ETF that invests in various tech companies from around the world. Or maybe you want some exposure to gold without having to buy physical bullions by purchasing an ETF instead. Another benefit of investing in ETFs is that it is easy for beginners who are unfamiliar with the markets because they aren't any complicated derivatives or high-risk investments involved when trading with these funds. Single target efficiency. Shadow Priests shine in their single target DPS. They do huge amounts of damage with their shadow spells. Single target damage refers to any damage that is primarily intended for one target. Single target efficiency is the investment equivalent of single stock investing. Investing in a single company simplifies the process of researching and managing your stock investment. Whereas another investor might spend time researching companies and deciding how to allocate limited investment money among multiple businesses, investing in a single company is a faster and easier way to get into the stock market, especially if you know which company you want to invest in ahead of time. As an ongoing investment, your decisions will be limited to how to receive dividends and when to sell, while investors in multiple companies will have many more decisions to make. The pros of holding single stocks. When buying individual stocks, you see reduced fees. You no longer have to pay the fund company an annual management fee for investing your assets. Instead, you pay a fee when you buy the stock and one when you sell it. The rest of the time, there are no additional costs. The longer you hold the stock, the lower the cost of ownership is. Since fees have a big impact on your return, this alone is a good reason to own individual stocks. You understand what you own when you pick out the stock. You have complete control of what you are invested in and when to make that investment. Shadow priests are also a ranged DPS class. The benefit of being a ranged DPS is that it immediately takes you out of melee range of enemies and gives you that distance to protect yourself from direct danger. Being ranged is very much like having a financial advisor. A financial advisor can help you see your finances in a new light. When you're the one who's responsible for your own finances, it's easy to lose sight of the big picture. You might not be able to see the forest for those trees. And if you're the only one looking at your own finances, it can make it difficult to understand how they work together. Much like a ranged DPS, you will look at things from a distance. A financial advisor will look at everything from an outside perspective. They'll be able to help you understand what is happening with your money, as well as how it relates to other things happening across the economy and the world at large. They help you stay on track. The best financial advisors can help you stay on track with your own goals. Much like the ability to look at DPS output from a distance, whether that's sticking to the budget or saving money for an emergency fund, a good financial advisor will also be able to help you invest money in a way that will help you reach your goals faster. Shadow priests are the most powerful during single target combat. Shadow is a really enjoyable specialization to play in World of Warcraft. It has a lot of utility and can deal a lot of damage in the right setting. One thing that I personally like about Shadow is that its class fantasy is fun and unique, especially with Shadow form. Shadow priests stick out and are feared in battlegrounds. So how do you invest like a Shadow priest? Shadow priests are ranged DPS who have strong single target efficiency and versatility. This means you would work with your financial advisor who would invest specifically into ETFs balanced with single stocks. This is a great combination, and much like Shadow Priest DPS, you have a very strong possibility of being extremely successful. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more, check out Nerdstock Talk at storycomic.com. There you can find even more resources and information to help you learn the basics of investing through the lens of your favorite class or archetype. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when I post new videos.